Deborah, with her 30 years of being an entrepreneur and creating over 7 companies, knows exactly what it means to accept the mission. When you make that decision, when you accept the mission to become a solopreneur, to take yourself and your talents to market, then you embrace a life of not only unlimited possibilities, but also the unknown. It's an elixir of fear and bravery that only someone who's taken the leap really understands. On our show, Deb digs deep with her guests to highlight what you, the listener, wants to know. The stories, the whys, and the hows to navigate the journey to success. Get ready to hear from some of the most incredible mission takers from Generation Z to Boomers. So sit up, perk up, and get ready to be blown away. Now here is your host, Deborah Drummond.
Hey, welcome back to Mission Accepted. What's it going to be today, folks? What's it going to be today? You guys are the most in tune audience I have ever met. If you've been following us, you know that you get to change who you are every time you come back to a show. Thank you so much. Love the audience. You guys are just rocking it and you're sending things out and we're getting feedback and you guys telling us what you need and what you want. Fantastic. And thank you, Susan, for doing yoga to us. Thank you for that information that you shared with us, that we are your yoga podcast. Super cool. If you've never been to Mission Accepted and you just landed here today, well, you would have heard in the intro, what we do is we bring on fearless entrepreneurs that are willing to tell your story, because you know that you're going to get inspired. We know that you're going to laugh with us and maybe a little at us. Today is a very, very, very special day. You guys have been hearing me ranting and raving and sending you to They Did It tour and go listen to this person and what's your most magical moment with music. And look, I love the creatives. I am a creative. I love creatives. I think entrepreneurs are really creatives with a job, right? And it's very passion filled. And so I have 2 incredible creatives with me today. But, you know, Mel was kind enough to introduce us to Lyzz. And Lyzz is going to do some really cool stuff around music. And I wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you about They Did It tour. Like, how does something like that happen? And, you know, we just updated the video, so you can go to theydidittour.ca and watch this incredible story, how it unfolded. But just to kind of capture that moment. So the reason why myself and Corrine are walking 8.5 marathons across Ireland was not because we sat down, called our business coaches, laid out a business plan, did what I tell people they have to do when they're my clients, and that's reverse engineer, strategically figure this out. I literally was walking across the bridge and I was racing because my girlfriend Tammy gets a little if I'm late. And so I'm racing across the bridge. And halfway across the bridge, I hear scream in my ear, "It's time," to the point that I jolted. And when I jolted, it was an instant download, if you know what I mean. Even for those of you that just download music and you have no idea what that download means, other things. For those other of you that know what it means, it was an instant, I need to do a marathon. I need to donate the money to Amnesty and the music, Canadian Music Association, and do it in Ireland. And my first immediate thought was, are you kidding me? I don't have time for this. I didn't even question it. Seriously, what is wrong with me? That's the kind of stuff that you take to your business coach. You're like, I'm not sure this is a good idea. And they're like, no, it's not a good idea. What's wrong with you? So I didn't question it. I was like, okay. And then I'm like, well, I know Ireland really well. I'll walk it and I'll make my friends donate and that'll be that. 3 days later, I call Amnesty and I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to come over to Ireland and I'm going to give you guys some money and we're going to do this and that. And they're like, well, if you get sponsored, you can't, just because of the, media implications and blah, blah, blah. It's political. So I'm like, that's cool. I'll give all the money to music. And that's where it started. The following week, I'm driving out to see my daughter. She's a 2-hour drive away. My girlfriend's like, I'll go with. I'm like, okay, cool. And on the way back, I'm sitting there. I'm like, now, just honestly, straight up, I am geographically challenged. You tell me to meet you a mile down the road, ain't happening. No idea. Give me the address. It just doesn't compute for me. I can do some things, but that I can't. So I'm like, a marathon. And I've done a marathon 18 years ago, but I've done a marathon. So I'm like, I know, I'll just go from Dublin to Galway because Ed's got to meet us in Galway and sing Galway Girl. And then we'll head over to Cliffs of Moher, my favorite place in the world. And we'll finish off there. Sounds good. And my girlfriend, who's also a Celt, she's Scottish. She's like, is that what you're going to do? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I'll do that. Now she's been a police officer for 30 years. Of course she will do that. And she'll kick my clock. So I'm like, okay. So we keep driving and I'm like, we should really figure out how far that is. I'm seriously thinking it's a marathon. I'm thinking it's 1 marathon. It's 8.5 marathons. So that's how it started. We actually thought it was 10 marathons. And she goes, 10 marathons. I'm like, 10, I think it's 10 marathons, right? She's like, 10 marathons in 10 days. I'm like, okay. She's like, game on. I'm like, game on. Now it's between us, right? Anyways, the whole idea around why we are donating the money to the music community, not only because I was told to, and I'm kind of, if I'm going to take half the vision, I got to go all in. But the second thing is, I love music, have always loved music, have a background in music, like happiest cocktail waitress in the world, help book bands. I mean, it's just thick it's thick in my cells. And the one thing, and I think it was really prime time, why music? Why now? Like, why now? And you know what? When a lot of people think of music, they think of that 1% of that 1% of people that are being able to charge $500 for their concerts. And so there's like, well, why donate to music? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But what you probably don't understand is 90% of people that are in the music industry, not just singers, but actually are in the community, can't pay their rent. You probably don't know all those numbers, all those stats. It's kind of like, people go, well, it's in the arts. And I'm like, well, you look at, as someone the guy went to the art gallery, and I can stand there and I can take an art and I can be inspired and motivated. But I can't take the art off the wall and take it home for free. When you are, playing music, I can get up every single day and play music on my phone for free. I can get music streamed on my TV as part of my package for free. So there's just a hole there. And I know that Unison, the charity that we're supporting throughout Canada, it's a discrete charity that supports people in the music industry for all sorts of things, financial support, emotional. Alicia Keys has stepped up, and we're supporting She Is the Music and all her volunteer-run pods globally around supporting women in music, no matter where you want to play in the music community. And so when we're looking also for a charity for Ireland, because that's obviously where the event will be. There's lots of details to tell you, but that's where I just want to lead in today, because you've been hearing us talk about music. You've been hearing how we're having people come on to the show, because don't forget that musicians and people in the industry are entrepreneurs as well, right? Someone might be a coach and someone might be a singer. It's really no different. You got to make your way. You got to make your way, right? So I was super excited. I know and love Melanie was here. She is a master of everything. Those people like, don't do a lot of things, just do one thing. No, you can master everything. And that's what she does. I love the story that she just shared on how she met Lyzz, but she just sent me a message saying, hey, Lyzz is cool in music. We should be on your show. And I'm like, yep, because that's what you do with cool people that are solid. So thank you for listening to that introduction. If you guys didn't know what They Did It Tour is all about, it's that and then some. Of course, we have sponsorship packages. Of course, we have ways that you can participate. Of course, if you're in the music community, just go to the Facebook group. They Did It Tour Facebook group. And for free, post about your gigs, post about what you're doing. Like, just build a music community where everybody's supporting everybody globally. That's enough of me. It's not supposed to be my show. I bring people on to talk, but I wanted to just kind of give you guys the heads up in the direction that we were going. So Mel, first of all, please introduce yourself to everybody. Talk about, your own mission, what made you decide to take your mission, and bring Lyzz on, how you guys met. Do share.
Yeah. So, how sometimes you have those moments where you look back on your life and you're like, I can pinpoint the exact moments that got me to where I am right now. And my meeting Lyzz is one of those moments that brought me to right where I am right now. And Lyzz doesn't even know this, so she'll learn it as I say. And so I'll do both. Do you want me to do both in the same?
Yeah, you just rock. You just do your thing. It's rock and roll day. You just rock and roll.
Awesome. And I love that you're going through Galway on the way to the Cliffs of Moher from Dublin, because it's just so on the way.
Yeah, just right there. Just right there. Around the corner.
Okay. So anyway, my name is Melanie McSally. I run a tech company, and I specialize in helping the people whose mission it is to create a better tomorrow. I help them do that. I help support them on that mission without sacrificing their quality of life, using business technology, optimization, and automation. So the services we provide, optimization, automation, and technology in general, so that all these lovely change makers in the world can do that without having to run themselves ragged. And so that's that in a tight little bow. And so how I met Lyzz and how we got to this point in time. is a few years ago, I was leaving one job that I'd been at for nearly a decade. Most of you will know which job this is. And it was Harvard University. And so I was leaving that job, and I had a really fulfilling career there. And I wasn't really sure, like I didn't have the most positive mindset leaving. Like I was kind of not walking away. It was a good no, like the job and everything was great, but I felt like I needed some personal growth, to let go of some limiting beliefs, to like reset myself before applying for a new job, right? I needed some time off from the workforce. So I decided to go to this personal growth organization. And one of the exercises that they have you do is to decide who lives. Right? There's an end of world scenario happening. You only get to choose 5 people to live, and you get to set all the rules as to how you're going to choose those people. And so I walked up to Lyzz, because Lyzz is an amazing singer-songwriter. She now helps people heal through music. And I just said, the world needs music. And I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. And in our community, we have lots of singer-songwriters. We have a huge music community. You can walk down any street in Massachusetts, in Boston anyway, and see people singing live outside. You can invite musicians to your parties and have them play. So I'm very familiar with the starving artist syndrome, right? And I see that side of music, and I honestly feel like the world needs more of the music that comes from that group of people specifically, because not that not all music is real, but it's just very real when it's coming from a place of like, I'm gonna eat by singing you this song, And so fast forward, Lyzz and I became really good friends, and we connect and go out in the music community and go for coffee. And so we were just catching up after some time apart. And I asked Lyzz, well, what's going on with you? What's new? And she said, oh, I just got accepted into Berklee College of Music. And she's like, what's new with you? And I was like, oh, I just took a job at Berklee College of Music. And so I was like, oh, here we are, restarting our journey together again. And so there's just like this thread that goes through our lives that's centered around music. And Berklee College of Music was the last official corporate job I had before I quit my job, sold everything I owned, sold my house, gave away everything I owned, sold my house, hit the road as a digital nomad, started my tech company, and just started traveling the world. And I've been doing that ever since. And it's just become more and more in line with who are the change makers of the world. And then if I really think back to that conversation with Lyzz, it's really like, who's creating a better tomorrow? And the musicians are really a big part of that.
Well, that's amazing. And let's talk about that a little bit before I hand it over to you, Lyzz. And I think that people are starting to see that when people ask, okay, Deb, why music? Why music? Why music? This money could be going anywhere. It could be going to any of the conditions, the physical conditions we know are out there. It can be going to animals. It can be go to water conservation. It can be doing that. And I'm like, you know what? I think the universe had really great timing, because what we've just gone through in the last few years, I don't think there's not a soul that could probably say that music helped them get through that. Because music helped us get through life before the last few years of being funky. Never mind having to really have our personal development tested, if you want to say it nicely, or, what some people call our mental health tested, our relationships tested, our beliefs tested. And we've really pulled music into our lives, into our heart, around motivation, inspiration, soul soothing. So I think what a really beautiful, for me, there's 3 energies. It kind of goes spirit, love, and music. And music in that is one that has no controversy, right? Whether you believe or not, it can be controversial. Love hurts, love heals. That can be controversial, but I don't think anyone's going to not like me because I listen to country music, right? And you listen to jazz, and, you sing classical. It really doesn't cause controversy. That really actually has that feeling of we are the world. I might be dating myself with that song, but it has that sense of community where it doesn't matter what your color of skin, your age, your gender, what you identify as, what you don't, what you think of politics, what you don't, who you vote for, if you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, all those differentials that have been really brought to the surface that has tested relationships of friends, family, and with each other. And I think music is just such a powerful conduit. So that I think it's really cool to be raising money for something that literally, for the most part, just kind of gets under recognized, but appreciated. I mean, everyone appreciates it. They just don't, I think it gets underestimated in terms of its value. And there's just no controversy around it. Like, no one's going to go, really? Like, you listen to jazz? Yeah, no, sorry, right? It just doesn't happen. So anyways, let's bring the artist on. Lyzz, please join our conversation.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you on behalf of musicians for the work that you're doing for us. It's really great. And I really love all you've been saying about the power of music. I think both of you have been saying about the power of music and the importance of it to like connect people and like be this sort of like equalizing field, right? So Melanie, I think about that comment you made to me at that seminar like pretty frequently. I was saying before this, like that was it was such a touching moment for me because like I didn't even save myself in that exercise, and Melanie saved me so the world could have music. And I was like, wow, yeah, music is so important. And like, you know, we've mentioned I'm a musician, singer, songwriter. Melanie touched on the idea of like me healing through music. So I'm currently finishing my master's degree in music therapy. And yeah, and like that power of music to bring people together and to, you know, help us like process our feelings and connect to each other. I really do believe there's a power in that to heal ourselves individually and in community. So I love this conversation so far. So thanks for having me be a part of it.
Absolutely. You know what? I think it would be interesting to have you describe a little bit because, you know, there's people that do art therapy, sound therapy, music therapy. And I think that there's people that would love to lean into that, but they're like, I have no idea what I would be doing. Let's see, art therapy, I'm probably going to be painting. Music therapy, what am I going to be doing? You know, like, what am I going to be doing? Like, I remember once a friend of mine does something similar and they're like, just come over to my house and lie underneath my piano and I'm going to play. I'm just going to intuitively play. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So is it something like that? So what is it what does it look like to come and see someone for music therapy? Like, how does that help us?
Yeah. Great question with a lot of answers. It's going to look different depending on who's coming for it. So the very most simple way of describing music therapy is using music to achieve non-musical goals. So that could be in a bunch of different ways. So like we touched on some of the ways that like people might use music in their lives, whether it's to like, I don't know, come together for a concert, or like there's that song that you sing over and over again when you're going through a breakup that like helps you through that. So it could be like listening to music, it could be playing to music, it could be moving to music. It's sort of like any kind of way you could engage with music might be used in music therapy depending on what the goal is, right? So there's a lot of like the work that I do, I work with kids, so it's a lot of like social, emotional, behavioral stuff. So I'm putting kids in groups to like listen to music together and play music together and connect through that and learn how to like listen to each other and like talk about music and like each other's music respectfully and you know, maybe like process some of the feelings that come up when we listen to music, or like the act of playing music together like requires people to like be together in that musical space and listen and feel and connect. So those are like, that's a small example, but you know, it's a lot of things.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I would imagine they'd have to learn team and collaboration and cooperation and letting people talk and letting people have the lead and knowing how to follow and all of those things that one must learn all those things that one must learn. So tell us a little bit of how you found music. You obviously just didn't walk into Berklee and go, yeah. So tell us, I mean, clearly we can hear what it means to you, but is it a type of music that you love? Tell us a little bit about your music story.
Oh, okay. Could be a long story. How much time do we have?
We can have you back a number of times. Don't worry. Maybe, tell us maybe the moment that you thought, or where it started for you, or why, sometimes we love things, right? Like, I absolutely love throwing parties. Clearly, Mel, we're on the 262 project. We got to get you on there. I like to throw parties, very detailed, but someone said to me, you should be an event planner. I'm like, no. I just do that for people that I love, So what makes you decide to take something that you love, that you're actually really good at, and go full game and make a career out of it?
Yeah. Well, music has always been in my life. My mom was a classical piano player. So I learned piano when I was really young. That's kind of where it started. And I don't know, I did musical theater and was in like chorus in school, and just like picked up a bunch of different instruments. And I don't think at the time I like realized how much of a support it was for me, just like through growing up and different sort of just experiences that I had. But, at some point in college, I was probably 19 or 20, I ended up in an abusive relationship, and I really got away from music, and I like didn't play any music. And it wasn't until later, after I escaped, that I like could reflect on that and be like, oh wow, music was missing from my life. And then like bringing music back into my life was a way for me to find my voice again, express myself, like feel into things, and just like really like get myself back, right? Like I didn't realize how core music was to my identity or anything until that. And I really, it was like poetry and songwriting that really, really did that for me and helped me so much in that healing process. And I, at the time, was working in insurance. I was a licensed casualty and property producer, and I am no longer, but it was a job that I was like, I guess I'll have this job until I figure out what I want to do. But every day I'd sit at my desk and like think about music and think about writing songs. And I was like, oh, I guess I want to do music. So I ended up going to Berklee. As Melanie said, and I was pursuing a songwriting degree, which I ended up getting. I'll pivot a little into what like turned me towards music therapy. So I was writing songs, I was singing, I was like doing some gigs and pursuing that degree. But like the whole time I was there, I would hear about music therapy and like get a little bit jealous of the people who were doing music therapy. And I'd considered doing that for a career, and then I wanted to make sure I wasn't thinking about that because I didn't feel confident enough in like my artistry and my musicianship. So it was kind of like, oh, I'll push this aside and just keep doing this thing. But it was this thing that kept coming up, was this like jealousy about music therapy majors. And I was like, and sometimes those patterns happen, and like it's kind of a cue to me that I should pay attention. And at some point I was like, I also worked in the health and wellness department at Berklee, and I was an assistant to the like meditation teacher every week. And so I got to go and like meditate. And I was meditating, and I asked myself, I had this clarity, and I asked myself, like, if it were a given that you were going to be good at whatever you did, what would you want to do? And I was like, I would want to do both. Like, I'd want to keep writing songs for like in doing this thing that I love to do, but I'd also like want to share that power with other people through music therapy. And so that's where I am now.
No, you know what? I mean, lots to unpack there, but let's, if there's anything that you guys are listening to out there, I love that you phrased it in a way that you felt jealous. Because whether it's jealous or envious, or I dream of, or it comes up, or I think what it would be like, or you hear that a lot from entrepreneurs that finally take that calling, right? Finally listen to that. It's like, you look at someone, you're like, wow, that's a dream job. That's my dream job. And then I mean, then comes in the but and the rent and 6 kids and car payment and all that kind of stuff comes in, or I would have to go back to school, or I'm not, this is not my area, or whatever that starts to come in, or it just sits there and goes away until it comes back again and goes away. And I love that you actually took the question and took it into a quiet space, whether that quiet space was meditation, whether that quiet space was a counseling session, whether that quiet space was a journaling, whether it was like by yourself with headphones on at a Starbucks. You went to a quiet place and you asked the question, and then you allowed the answer to come. And I also love the fact that you didn't have to go, because I think a lot of us do that. Something inside. You're at the beginning of the entrepreneur, there's something inside, and you're like, you feel like if you go in the direction that's calling you, you have to let go of the direction you're in now. And that's not necessarily true. You were like, I can do both. I can do both. Even if those things were polar opposite, you can still do both. You can still do both, right? You can still do what you love, and you can still do what you're called for. So I love that. I just want people to pick up on that, because as you're listening, I'm really hearing that. I don't know, Melanie, do you have something to throw in? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to interject because I love multiple perspectives. And so working at Berklee College of Music is like the best job ever, because you just get to sit and listen to music all the time while you're working, but it's live. It's like live people. And it's not, the kid learning how to play violin. It's like actually good music live all day long. And I remember Lyzz was doing this production, right? It was like a class with a skit at the end or something.
Are you talking about the one-person show?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Berklee really sets people up to be successful in this industry. And we know the industry itself is brutal, right? And so Berklee sets you up to be successful in a brutal industry. And so it can be brutal in the school, right? And I remember going to see Lyzz, who she was performing in the nightclub that was underneath my office that I was listening to all day long. And so I went to go see her, and the teacher and the voice teachers are some of the most brutal teachers, right? She just came up to me and she's like, "Oh, you're Lyzz's friend? She's my favorite student. She's the best." And so, for Lyzz to say, "I'm going to go in this other direction," when the teachers at Berklee College of Music are saying she's fabulous, she's my favorite, to just not like settle for that and say, "I'm going to go this easy way where everybody knows I'm good. I'm going to go after this thing that I don't know anything about yet." I think she's being humble, in my opinion.
You're being humble. Awesome. Well, isn't it always nice to have someone there that gets to highlight and what I'm still stuck on. I love the fact that you guys were in a personal development class. She walks up to you, and then Lyzz, I love it, because you know what? I completely relate. If someone said, and I think this is, those of us that are, I don't know, healers or whatever, not to say that you're not Mel, but for you to say that you didn't even put yourself on the list, like she had put you on the list to save you. And if someone had said to me, "Okay, pick 5 people," I would have went and picked 5 other people. What a lesson. Honestly, what an interesting lesson in, I don't know if it's self-esteem or self-value or self-worth, or just self-recognition. Like, oh, I forgot about me. Mm-hmm. How many times in your life do you forget about you? Wow. Super cool. When you talked, you just related that to me. So, okay. So now you're living the life of a musician. That's awesome. Full game, double down. So I know that you have a few things more to say to us, I'm sure. I know that you're going to give us a little bit of your voice today, but before you do that, is there anything like you want to share or send out there to people that are wanting to do what you do, or even entrepreneurs out there? Is there something that you can share in your experience that can kind of help them or enlighten them?
This is a good question. I think we've talked a little bit about it already. It's that like inner voice that like when we get quiet, we can start to hear. I know for me that inner voice is like what's guided me through so many things in my life. And like when I take the time to listen, I never regret it. Like I know all of my biggest decisions have been listening to that voice, and like as scary as it can feel, like I go through it and I feel that fear. And then my mom used to say, like, feel the fear and do it anyway. Maybe that's it. Maybe feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. And I love that. Like hashtag I never regret it. I don't know, it's kind of a great song, great title of an album. Just saying. I never regret it. Okay, so hey, please, I mean, we would be so honored if you would like to share some of your music with us. We're all ears.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna grab my guitar.
All right. Grab your guitar, do your thing. Oh my gosh. So cool.
Yeah. Okay. Just set up, make sure you can hear me and the guitar. So can you like let me know if you can hear this? Yeah? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna song a little bit more. I put it out on Spotify like a few years back. It's still like one of my favorite songs that I wrote. I had a friend Laura, and we would applaud her when she'd cheer at football games. She fell in love with her best friend and drugs, and slowly we drifted away. I went on to college and she stayed behind, and I'm not sure where she's living today or if she's okay, and I wish I had loved her a little bit more. My boyfriend was Timothy, he was a mystery. He said all the right things, but I moved on to Ian without any reason. It was just something I did. Tim loved me, no question, just 2 college freshmen, so I'm not sure just why I left him, but I know it affects him, and I wish I had loved him a little bit more. People, they come and go, but memories won't leave you alone. And you can't talk to them like you talk to your friends. You can't talk about weather or war, but they keep hanging out while you're still hung up on things that don't matter. Sure is hard to ignore. I have a friend Gregory, my oldest memory, known him since I was a kid. We talk on our birthdays, it may not be worth it. I'd like to think that it is. I'll drop him a line when I have the time, but I'm not sure why I can't seem to find it. Don't know when I lost it, but I always wish that I had a lot more. People, they come and go, but memories won't leave you alone. And you can't talk to them like you talk to your friends. You can't talk about love or your life, but they keep hanging out while you're still hung up on things that aren't worth your time. It's hard to deny, but we try. I have a friend Sarah, and she's unaware she's the most loyal friend that I have. I don't know if she tries to be, but it inspires me. I can move forward with that. Maybe we get second chances with new circumstances. I'm not sure. I guess it doesn't matter, 'cause sooner or later we learn how to love just a little bit more. Yeah, we learn how to love just a little bit more. We learn how to love just a little bit more. Yeah, thank you.
I had turned my mic off because I didn't want any noise to disturb, and now I'm playing around. That was amazing. That was amazing. Woo! I'm like, okay, we got to get her on stage to help with the fundraiser. we gotta work together, girl. Oh my gosh, we got to get you on stage.
Right.
That was amazing. So look, tell people where they can hear your song. I don't know if you have an album, a t-shirt, a hat. Like, how can we hook into you? What can we do?
Yeah, so I am on Spotify so my name, artist name on there is LZ. So my name's Lyzz Zinn. My initials are LZ. So spell them out, ELLEZEE. I'm on there. Instagram, LZ Music. That's a good spot. And my website is lz.net. So all you got to really remember is LZ.
We got it. And
Yeah.
of course, you guys, it's in the show notes. I have no doubt we're going to get lots of attention on this episode. That's incredible. Thank you so much. I mean, Mel, thank you so much for sharing your friend, your Berklee friend, and then some with us today on Mission Accepted. And you guys, look, now I know you don't have to like hit those notes to come onto the show. But if you listeners out there would love to come onto the show, we'd love to have you. So you just reach out. I'm super easy. It's deb@debdrummond.com. Thank goodness for us that kind of put our name in things. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. You guys know what to do. And I can't help but mention that if you feel about music the way we do, just pop over to theydidittour.ca. You're going to see an incredible video that talks about the story. You're going to tap into a video that actually there is a variety of people, from the music industry to someone in the military to someone who works at the police department to an entrepreneur that blows things up. That's their business, and talks about what music means to them. And I know music means something to you. So you can make a donation in your name. You can make it in someone else's name. You can give us someone's name. We'll put it on our t-shirt. We'll walk it across Ireland. There's so many things that you can do. Reach out. We have an incredible sponsorship package. If you are someone who wants to get your project, your business, your name out there in this community, then we're happy to do what we can to work together and collaborate. We definitely have to have a talk. We always have to talk more. So Mel, please let people know how they can get in touch with you as well.
I will make it easy. You can find all of my stuff at melaniemcsally.com.
Look at us. We got it. We got it going on. We got 3 cool chicks here. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. We know we'll see you guys again next week. And until then, be well and stay groovy. Bye for now.